Kakatapos lang kanina ng pre-test at saka application. So, ito yung warm-up natin. Or medyo pahinga kasi ito yung topic na alam natin. Salamat pala sa mga nag-stay online. Pagbubutihan namin, pasensya na pangit yung boses ko pero sana maibigay ko sa inyo yung mga kailangan nyo. Good luck din pala sa mga ilan sa atin na malapit na yung schedule sa exam. At ingat sa lahat ngayong naka-community quarantine tayo. Unahin muna natin yung topic na very familiar tayo, the red cell anomaly. Red cell anomaly can be classified as variation in size, alteration in color, variation in shape, RBC inclusion, RBC distribution. Unahin muna natin, variation in size. Anisocytosis. Pag sinabing anisocytosis, variation in RBC size. A parameter reported in automated instrument that correlates with the degree of anisocytosis is RDW, or the red cell distribution width. Normal RDW is from 11.5 to 14.5%. Increased RDW or RDW greater than 14.5% indicates a heterogeneous population of red cell. May mga microcyte, may mga macrocyte. Low RDW is of no significance. Normocytic red cell. These are red cell with a normal size. 6 to 8 micrometer in diameter, normal MCV, 80 to 100 femtoliter. MCV, mean corpuscular volume, or mean cell volume, refers to the average volume of the red cell. To compute for the MCV value, hematocrit % times 10 over the red cell count. Normal MCV is from 80 to 100 femtoliter. Normal MCV, the red cell, are normocytic, less than 80 femtoliter, the red cells are microcytic, and over 100 femtoliter, the red cells are macrocytic. Dapat din sinecheck natin yung peripheral blood film because a combination of microcyte and macrocyte can yield a normal MCV. RBC morphology on PBS or peripheral blood film must be examined to rule out a dimorphic population of microcyte and macrocyte that can yield a normal MCV. Normocytic or red cell with a normal size. The normal red cell is the same size as the nucleus of a small lymphocyte. Normal RBC are about 6 to 8 micrometer in diameter and an MCV value of 80 to 100 femtoliter. Normocytic red cell can be seen in, of course, normal condition. Pero anong mga halimbawa ng condition wherein normocytic yung mga red cell? Hemolytic anemia, aplastic anemia, anemia of renal disease, and in case of infection. Remember yung mga kakagaling sa local review, a viral infection associated with transient aplastic crisis, parvovirus B19. Normocytic in hemolytic anemia, but please take note, in hemolytic anemia nagre-respond ang bone marrow to hemolysis by producing more RBC. This can be seen with an increased reticon. In aplastic anemia, anemia of renal disease, or in case of infection, parvovirus B19, ang reticon is normal or decreased, meaning hindi nagre-respond ang marrow to anemia by producing more RBC. Microcytic, ito yung mga maliliit na red cell with diameter less than 6 micrometer and an MCV value less than 80 femtoliter. Remember, normal MCV range from 80 to 100 femtoliter. Yung mga microcytic red cell are result from condition due to reduced hemoglobin synthesis. Now, this can be due to decreased heme production, for example, in iron deficiency, chronic inflammation, sideroblastic anemia, or in lead poisoning, or defective globin chain production, for example, in thalassemia, hemoglobin E disease. Microcytic RBC, IDA, anemia of chronic inflammation, sideroblastic anemia, lead poisoning, thalassemia. Sa limang na-mention natin, anong pinaka-common? IDA. Again, yung first four, IDA, anemia of chronic inflammation, sideroblastic anemia, lead poisoning. These are due to defective heme synthesis. In thalassemia, defective globin chain production. Macrocytic RBC, these are large RBC with diameters greater than 8 micrometer or an MCV value greater than 100 femtoliter. Macrocytic RBC can be seen in megaloblastic or in non-megaloblastic RBC development in the bone marrow. Macrocytic RBC, now in megaloblastic anemia, the DNA synthesis is impaired due to vitamin B12 or folic acid deficiency. In non-megaloblastic anemia, DNA synthesis is unimpaired. According to Rodak, non-megaloblastic anemia are typically related to membrane changes owing to the disruption of cholesterol to phospholipid ratio. Macrocytic RBC, megaloblastic anemia, DNA synthesis is impaired in vitamin B12 deficiency, folate deficiency, myelodysplasia, non-megaloblastic anemia, DNA synthesis is unimpaired in chronic liver disease, alcoholic abuse, bone marrow failure. In megaloblastic anemia, yung mga macrocyte are ovoid or oval. This is one way to differentiate megaloblastic from non-megaloblastic anemia. In non-megaloblastic anemia, yung mga macrocyte are rounded. Megaloblastic anemia are also characterized by hypersegmented neutro. Hypersegmented neutro ay neutro with 6 or more lobes. Remember, ilan ang normal lobulation ng mga neutro? 2 to 5 lobes. Hypersegmented, those neutrophil with 6 or more lobes. Huwag kakalimutan, oval macrocyte, hypersegmented neutro, and oval jolly bodies and red cell are characteristic of megaloblastic anemia. In megaloblastic anemia, MCV value can be as high as up to 150 femtoliter, although sometimes MCV value can range from 100 to 115 femtoliter. In non-megaloblastic anemia, DNA synthesis is unimpaired. This can be seen in chronic liver disease, alcoholic abuse, bone marrow failure. In non-megaloblastic anemia, mga macrocyte are round. In non-megaloblastic anemia, rounded to differentiate it from megaloblastic anemia, wherein yung mga macrocyte are ovoid. In non-megaloblastic anemia, it is rare for the MCV to be greater than 115 femtoliter. In megaloblastic anemia, kanina na-mention natin, ang MCV value can be as high as 150 femtoliter. Normocytic, increased retics. In hemolytic anemia, normal or decreased retics. In aplastic anemia, anemia of renal disease, parvovirus B19 infection. Microcytic, IDA, anemia of chronic inflammation or anemia of chronic disease, sideroblastic anemia, lead poisoning, and in thalassemia. Macrocytic, this can be due to megaloblastic anemia or non-megaloblastic anemia. Ngayon, pag-usapan naman natin number 2, alteration in the red cell color or hemoglobin content. Anisochromia. Pag sinabing anisochromia, it is a general term for the variation in RBC color. Normochromic red cell or red cell with a normal color. Normal MCHC value range from 32 to 36%, the normal value. MCHC or mean corpuscular hemoglobin concentration or mean cell hemoglobin concentration. To compute for the MCHC value, hemoglobin in gram per deciliter times 100 over the patient's hematocrit in percent. Be sure normal ang unit. Pag mali ang unit, hindi tayo mag-arrive sa correct answer. Normal value is 32 to 36%. The red cell are normochromic. Yung mga red cell with MCHC value less than 32%, they are hypochromic. And greater than 36%, they are hyperchromic. But according to Shula, hyperchromic red cell or hyperchromasia ay hindi na ginagamit to denote red cell with increased MCHC. Ngayon ang tawag natin dito, spirocyte. Normochromic, normal in color, pallor area is equivalent to 1/3 of the red cell diameter. Normal MCHC value of 32 to 36%. Aha, in acute blood loss, hemolytic anemia, or aplastic anemia. Take note, in acute blood loss, hemolytic anemia, nagko-compensate ang bone marrow to anemia by producing increased RBC. In acute blood loss hemolytic anemia, normocytic normochromic ang red cell with increased retic. In aplastic anemia, normocytic normochromic ang red cell, pero yung retic dito, normal or decreased, meaning hindi nagko-compensate ang bone marrow to anemia by producing more RBC. I-differentiate muna natin ang acute blood loss from chronic blood loss. In acute blood loss, by definition, rapid loss of greater than 20% of the blood volume. In acute blood loss, the red cell are normocytic normochromic. In chronic blood loss of small amount of blood over extended period of time, the red cells are microcytic hypochromic due to deficiency of iron. Hypochromic RBC. These are red cell with pallor greater than 1/3 of the red cell diameter and MCHC value less than 32%. Hypochromic RBC can be seen in IDA, anemia of chronic inflammation or anemia of chronic disease, sideroblastic anemia, thalassemia. If you'll notice, ito rin yung mga condition wherein yung mga red cells are microcytic. So, IDA, anemia of chronic inflammation, sideroblastic anemia, thalassemia, the red cells are microcytic, hypochromic. A table taken from Henry. Differentiation of microcytic, hypochromic anemia. Sa apat na na-mention natin, ang pinaka-common is IDA. Just a reminder, pag tinanong, aling first laboratory anomaly or earliest indication of IDA, decreased serum ferritin. Pag sinabing ferritin, ito yung storage iron. Mawawalan muna tayo ng storage iron bago yung iron sa RBC. So, earliest indication of IDA is decreased serum ferritin. Paano mo naman i-differentiate ang IDA from other forms of microcytic hypochromic anemia? Siya may elevated TIBC. TIBC or total iron binding capacity. Pag sinabing TIBC, it is an indirect measure of transferrin. In IDA, kakaunti ang serum iron, therefore maraming available na transferrin. So pag tinanong tayo, microcytic hypochromic anemia with decreased serum iron and elevated TIBC, IDA. Be sure to differentiate IDA from anemia of chronic inflammation or anemia of chronic disease. In anemia of chronic inflammation, depressed in serum iron, depressed TIBC. Decreased iron, elevated TIBC in IDA. Decreased iron, decreased TIBC in anemia of chronic inflammation. Hyperchromic. According to Shula, hyperchromic or hyperchromesia is a term no longer used. The current term used are the spirocyte. The spirocyte or ito yung mga red cell na maliliit, pero kahit maliliit, they are hyperchromic. Walang pallor, MCEC value greater than 36%. Polychromatophilic red cell, these are red cell with blue, gray, pink cytoplasm. Remember yung mga red cell sa red staining, they are stained pink. Polychromatophilic when meron silang tinge of blue-gray. Blue color is caused by the residual RNA present in the cytoplasm. Polychromatophilic red cell are usually larger than mature RBC. Bakit? Kasi pag ginawan mo ng supravital stain, polychromatophilic red cell are actually the retics. So, polychromesia on a right stain smear is an indication of reticulocytosis. Kailan ba elevated yung mga retics? Sa mga condition na nagre-respond ang marrow to anemia. For example, in hemorrhagic anemia, in hemolytic anemia. Polychromesia, these are red cell with blue-gray pink cytoplasm. Polychromesia on a right stain smear is an indication of reticulocytosis. But take note, saan tayo nag-enumerate ng retics? Sa supravital stain. Example, the new methylene blue stain. Kailan elevated yung mga retics sa mga condition na nagre-respond ang marrow to anemia. For example, in hemolytic anemia, hemorrhagic anemia. Hanggang dito muna yung first part ng RBC anomaly. Pa-check yung part 2 ng RBC anomaly. Thank you! Bali pangatlo, sa mga red cell anomalies, variation in shape. Be sure after the discussion, be able to identify the different poikilocyte and makapag-name ng mga condition associated with this poikilocyte. Poikilocytes are red cell with abnormal shape. Ano mga different example ng mga poikilocyte? Acanthocyte, when we say acanthocyte, these are also known as toin cell, spur cell. When we say acanthocyte, these are red cell with projection that are unequal length and distribution. Some condition pwede maka-encounter ng mga acanthocyte. Example nito, unang-una, abeta-lipoproteinemia. But aside from abeta-lipoproteinemia, condition characterized by acanthocyte or cirrhosis of the liver, following heparin administration, hepatic hemangioma, neonatal hepatitis, post-splenectomy. Echinocyte. Echinocyte or the crenated red cell. These are red cell with projection of equal length and distribution. Yung ibang author, ang echinocyte at saka Burr, synonym. Pero yung ibang author, magkaibang echinocyte at saka Burr. Echinocyte, to denote the information nito, artifactual. Remember, yung mga red cell, when placed sa hypertonic solution, ano nangyayari dito? Nagsishrink, nagkakrinate. Burr, to denote the information, pathologic. Some condition pwede maka-encounter ng mga Burr cell in anemias, gastric ulcer, gastric carcinoma, peptic ulcer, renal insufficiency, pyruvate kinase deficiency, uremia. Kung may papatandaan ako dito, huwag kakalimutan. Renal insufficiency, uremia. Mas abnormal na BUN, mas increase ang formation ng mga bristle. Target cell or podocyte. Cells are thinner than normal, which may be because of an excessive ratio of membrane lipid to cell volume. Target cell, Mexican hot cell, or bullseye red cell are seen in hemoglobinopathies, thalassemia, hemolytic anemia, hepatic disease with or without jaundice, iron deficiency after splenectomy. Kung may papatandaan ako yung mga target cell, these are most characteristic of hemoglobinopathies, thalassemias. Leptocyte, when we say leptocyte, these are thinner variant of podocyte. They are seen in hepatic disorder, iron deficiency, thalassemia. Ulit leptocyte, thinner variant of podocyte. They are most commonly seen in IDA. Spirocyte. These are red cell na maliliit, pero kahit maliliit, they are hyperchromic. Of course, ang condition tayo, pwede maka-encounter ng mga spirocyte. Hereditary spirocytosis, hemolytic anemia, blood transfusion reaction. Pag may hemolysis, may spirocyte. Stomatocyte, these are red cell with pallor na slit-like or moth-like. Naalala niyo ba yung piso? Potassium inside, sodium outside. Saan mas permeable dapat ang red cell membrane? Sa potassium. Pero kapag permeable, increase yung permeability to sodium ion, dito may formation ng stomatocyte. Some condition pwede maka-encounter ng mga stomatocyte in hereditary stomatocytosis, in original disease, and in liver disease. Acute alcoholism, alcoholic cirrhosis, glutathione deficiency. Teardrop or BC, the cryocyte, teardrop red cell are formed due to squeezing and fragmentation of red cell in splenic passages. They are associated with myeloproliferative syndrome, for example, MMM, myelofibrosis with myeloid metaplasia, but can also be seen in homozygous beta thalassemia, pernicious anemia, severe anemias. Schizocyte, fragmentocyte. These are red cells that are fragmented. They are increased in hemolytic anemias associated with burns, prosthetic implant, renal transplant rejection. Remember, schizocyte, fragmentocyte, in automated cell counter, anong effect nito to automated RBC count? Decrease RBC count. Bakit? Yung mga fragmented red cell are not counted as red cell. Pero anong effect nito sa platelet count? Increase platelet count. Yung mga fragmented red cell are enumerated as platelet. So, decrease automated RBC count, increase automated platelet count. Sickle cell are also known as the drepanocyte. They may resemble a crescent. Ang mga sickle cell are formed due to gelation of polymerized deoxygenated hemoglobin S. Polymerization of hemoglobin S is influenced by two factors: a low oxygen level and a decreased blood pH. Of course, sickle cell drepanocyte are associated with sickle cell anemia. Sabayan niyo ako, acanthocyte or red cell with projection of an equal length and distribution. They are most characteristic of a beta lipoproteinemias. Echinocyte and Burr, for other authors, they are synonym. But yung iba magkaiba. Echinocyte to denote the information, artifactual, red cell when exposed, to hypertonic solution, nagsishrink, nagkakrinit. Or birth to denote the information, pathologic. Birth cell are most characteristic of renal insufficiency, uremia. Mas abnormal na BUN, mas increase ang formation ng mga birth cell. Target cell, the Mexican head cell, podocyte, red cell na may bullseye appearance. They are most characteristic of hemoglobinopathies, thalassemias. Spirocyte, maliliit at hyperchromic, associated with hereditary spirocytosis, hemolytic anemias. Remember, principal test for hereditary spirocytosis, the OFT test. In hereditary spirocytosis, increase OFT. Pero ang problem is, how will you differentiate hereditary spirocytosis from autoimmune hemolytic anemias? Both conditions are characterized by presence of spirocyte. So, pares elevated ang MCHC, pares elevated yung kanilang OFT. Pero paano mo sila i-differentiate? The DET test. In autoimmune hemolytic anemia, the DET test is positive. In hereditary spirocytosis, negative DET. A positive DET test, direct AHG test, or direct Coombs test is most characteristic of autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Stomatocyte. When we say stomatocyte, these are red cell with slit-like or mouth-like pallor area. Of course, in hereditary stomatocytosis or in original disease. Pero bukod dito, some condition, pwede maka-encounter ng stomatocyte. Liver disease, alcoholism. Teardrop red cell, the cryocyte. These are red cell formed due to squeezing and fragmentation of red cell in splenic passages. They are most characteristic of MMM, myelofibrosis with myeloid metaplasia. Schizocyte, fragmentocyte, schizocyte, yung mga fragmented RBC. They are most characteristic of microangiopathic hemolytic anemia. Again, anong effect ng schizocyte to automated RBC count? Decrease RBC. Kasi yung mga fragmented red cell are not counted as red cell. Pero anong effect nito sa automated platelet count? Increased platelet count. Kasi mga fragmented red cell can be counted as platelet. Next, we have yung mga sickle cell, drepanocyte. Crescent cell in appearance due to hemoglobin S seen in sickle cell anemia. Hanggang dito muna yung part 2. Please pa-check ng part 3 ng discussion on red cell anomaly. Salamat! On red cell anomalies, bali pang number 4, the red cell inclusion. After the discussion, being able to identify the different RBC inclusion, alamin yung mga composition, example of condition, kung saan tayo pwede maka-encounter ng mga inclusion na to. Unahin muna natin yung mga Howell jelly bodies, round, solid staining, dark blue to purple inclusion. These are nuclear remnant which consists of DNA. They are seen in hemolytic anemias, pernicious anemias, post-splenectomy, physiological atrophy of the spleen. Remember, yung mga red cell inclusion are removed by the spleen. So, pag nawala yung spleen, increase ang appearance ng mga red cell inclusion. Howell jelly bodies are nuclear remnant which consists of DNA, they are associated with hemolytic anemias, pernicious anemias, post-penectomy, atrophy of the spleen. Take note, na-mention natin yung pernicious anemia. Kanina pala, na-mention ko sa megaloblastic anemia. Huwag kakalimutan, oval macrocyte, Howell jelly bodies, hypersegmented neutro are seen in megaloblastic anemias. Basophilic stippling, pwedeng fine or coarse. Fine basophilic stippling, kumbaga, reticulum, kumbaga sa red cell, associated with increased RBC production. Coarse basophilic stippling are also known as punctate basophilia. This inclusion consists of ribosome and RNA. They are associated with disturbed erythropoiesis, lead poisoning, and in severe anemias. According to Henry, fine basophilic stippling may be found in polychromatophilic RBC, reticulum kumbaga sa red cell, associated with increased RBC production seen in blood loss or in hemolysis. Coarse basophilic stippling suggests anomaly in hemoglobin synthesis. Coarse basophilic stippling or punctate basophilia, this inclusion consists of ribosomes and RNA. They are seen in disturbed erythropoiesis, defective or accelerated heme synthesis, lead poisoning, severe anemias. Cabot rings, ring or figure of 8 inclusion. These are remnants of the microtubules from the mitotic spindle. They can be seen in lead poisoning and in pernicious anemia. Cabot rings, remnant of the microtubule from the mitotic spindle, seen in lead poisoning, pernicious anemia. Hines. Now, this inclusion consists of denatured hemoglobin. They are not visible sa red staining. They are only seen with a supravital stain such as crystal violet or brilliant crystal blue. Itong mga inclusion na ito are most characteristic of G6PD deficiency but can be seen in congenital hemolytic anemia secondary to drug such as phenacetin, and in some hemoglobinopathies. Again, they are only visible with the use of a supravital stain. This inclusion consists of denatured hemoglobin, seen in G6PD deficiency, congenital hemolytic anemia secondary to drug such as phenacetin, and in hemoglobinopathies. Pag na-mention yung mga supravital staining of living cell, local review, huwag kakalimutan, RHH, reticulum, hemoglobin H inclusion, Heinz bodies. Pitting, removal of inclusion by the spleen. Bite cell ang tawag sa mga red cell wherein yung Heinz bodies na pit o natanggal ng spleen. Sa condition tayo pwede maka-encounter ng bite cell at saka blister cell. Sa mga condition na pwede maka-encounter ng Heinz, for example in G6 PD deficiency. Siderotic granules, iron granules sa red cell, they are visible with an iron stain such as the Prussian blue stain. Pappenheimer bodies and siderotic granules are probably identical structure. Pappenheimer bodies are aggregates of mitochondria, ribosome, iron particles. They are associated with iron-loading anemias such as sideroblastic anemia, hyposplenism, and hemolytic anemia. Pappenheimer bodies, aggregates of mitochondria, ribosome, and iron particles, associated with iron-loading anemias, hyposplenism, hemolytic anemias. Hemoglobin crystal. Hemoglobin C crystal, rod-like angular opaque structure within RBC associated with hemoglobin C disease. Hemoglobin H bodies are polymers of beta chain of hemoglobin A. For demonstration of hemoglobin H, supravital stains such as brilliant crescel blue. May-mention natin yung supravital staining of living cell. RHH, reticulum ng retics, for example, new methylene blue, hemoglobin H, example, brilliant crescel blue, and Heinz, for example, crystal violet. For this review, mag-RODAC tayo. Hemoglobin C crystal or reddish hexagonal cytoplasmic RBC crystal, described as gold bar, Washington Monument. May mga ilang references na ang Washington Monument, hemoglobin SC, but for this review, RODAC, gold bar, Washington Monument, hemoglobin C crystal. Hemoglobin C, gold bar, Washington Monument. So, may picture pa tayo sa gilid ng Washington Monument. Pillar na puti na pointed yung tip. Hemoglobin SC, irregular reddish cytoplasmic RBC crystal, according to RODAC, described as glove or pistol. Hemoglobin SC crystal. RBC inclusion review question. What red cell inclusion may be seen in the peripheral blood smear of patient post-pilectomy? Toxic granules, Howell jelly bodies, malarial parasite, siderotic granules. Correct answer, Howell jelly bodies. Remember, yung mga red cell inclusion are pitted by the spleen. So, kapag natanggal yung spleen, increase yung appearance ng RBC inclusion. Example, the Howell jelly bodies. Which of the following erythrocyte inclusion can be visualized with supravital stain but cannot be detected on right stained blood smear? Basophilic stippling, Heinz, Howell jelly bodies, siderotic granules. Sana naalala nyo yung RHH, reticulum ng retics, Heinz, hemoglobin H, are visible only with the use of a supravital stain such as crystal violet. The red cell found in lead poisoning characteristically exhibit coarse granules that are composed of black and reported as in lead poisoning, coarse basophilic stippling. What are basophilic stippling? These are aggregates of ribosome and RNA. Which of the following red cell inclusion stain with both Prussian blue stain and red stain? A. Howell jelly bodies, B. Basophilic stippling, C. Pappenheimer bodies, or D. Heinz. Remember, yung Prussian blue is an iron stain. So, Pappenheimer bodies. Correct answer, letter C. Ngayon, pag-usapan naman natin alteration in RBC distribution. We should be able to differentiate agglutination from rouleau formation, both sa appearance of blood film and kung ano yung technique to differentiate them. Number 5, alteration in RBC distribution. Agglutination, random masses or cluster of the red cell. Ano yung mga condition associated with autoagglutination? Exposure to a variety of antibodies, autoimmune hemolytic anemias, atypical pneumonia. Remember, primary atypical pneumonia is caused by Mycoplasma pneumoniae, staphylococcal infection, trypanosomiasis, cold agglutinin disease. Rouleau, stack of coin arrangement of the red cell. Rouleau formation, plasma factor, elevated plasma globulin, elevated plasma fibrinogen, presence of plasma expander such as dextran. Example of clinical condition na nakaruloy yung mga red cell, hyperproteinemia, multiple myeloma, macroglobulinemia, increased fibrinogen. Agglutination or autoagglutination. In cold agglutinin disease, for example, ano yung autoantibody associated with cold agglutinin disease? Anti-capital I. In atypical pneumonia, for example, causative agent of atypical pneumonia, Mycoplasma pneumoniae. So kapag tinanong tayo, infection, wherein yung mga red cell naka-agglutinate, Mycoplasma pneumoniae. Rouleau, stack of coin arrangement of the red cell. Increased plasma globulin, for example, in multiple myeloma. How will you differentiate Rouleau from true agglutination? Agglutination, true agglutination, aggregates will not disperse in saline. Rouleau, aggregates will disperse with saline. A drop of NSS will help us differentiate Rouleau from true agglutination. True agglutination remains intact, dispersed with saline, Rouleau formation. Hanggang dito muna yung part 3, pakicheck yung part 4 ng ating discussion. Salamat! Pag-usapan naman natin ngayon yung mga WBC anomalies. Unang-una po yung mga anomalies involving, morphologic anomalies involving the mature granulocyte. Ano po yung mga examples nito? Number 1, we have hypersegmentation. Yung neutrophil po, majority ng mga neutrophil ay may 2 to 5 lobes. Normally may 2 to 5 lobes. Kailan po sila hypersegmented? Kapag meron silang more than 5 lobes or 6 or more lobes. Hypersegmentation, katulad po ng na-mention natin sa naunang discussion are commonly seen in megaloblastic anemia. Huwag pong kakalimutan oval macrocyte, Howell jelly bodies, and hypersegmented neutro are commonly seen in megaloblastic anemia. So ano po nakita natin dito? Hypersegmented neutro again, normal ovulation 2 to 5 lobes, hypersegmented with 6 or more lobes. Usually, they are seen in megaloblastic anemia, oval macrocyte, Howell jelly bodies, hypersegmented neutro are seen in megaloblastic anemia. Kung may hypersegmentation, meron naman po tayong tinatawag na hyposegmentation. Dito po yung mga neutrophil, although mature, they are hyposegmented, usually with 2 lobes in Pelger-Hewitt anomaly. Ang Pelger-Hewitt anomaly po is an inherited disorder, an inherited autosomal dominant trait. Meron po tayong tinatawag na homozygous Pelger-Hewitt anomaly kung saan yung mga neutrophil, iisa lang, wala pong lobulation, round lang po yung nucleus. In heterozygous Pelger-Hewitt anomaly, ito po yung pinaka-common, yung mga neutro, they are bilobe. Dumbbell, peanut, spectacle-like or with an appearance similar to a pin's nest. Pag sinabi pong pin's nest, ito po yung eyeglass na walang hook. Ang hyposegmentation, pwede pong inherited type. Ito na nga po, yung Pilger-Hewitt anomaly, or this can be acquired in pseudo or acquired Pilger-Hewitt anomaly. Now, this can be seen in myeloproliferative disorder, for example, yung mga patient with CML, or kaya pseudo Pilger-Hewitt anomaly in patient with HIV infection, TB, Mycoplasma pneumoniae, and severe bacterial infection. Ito po sa plate, meron po tayong nakita na hyposegmented neutro. Ang hyposegmentation pwedeng inherited, Pilger-Hewitt anomaly, or this can be acquired, pseudo Pilger-Hewitt anomaly in myeloproliferative disorder, for example, yung mga patient with CML. Ngayon naman po, pag-usapan natin yung mga WBC inclusion. Ano mga example nito? Number 1, we have yung Alder-Riley inclusion. This inclusion consists of mucopolysaccharide. Saan pong condition pwede maka-encounter ng mga Alder-Riley inclusion? In mucopolysaccharidosis, Alder-Riley anomaly, Hunter-Reiller syndrome. Pero ingat lang po sa Alder-Riley inclusion. Bakit ito mga inclusion na to pwede mapagkamalan ng toxic granules? Yung toxic granules po pwede ma-encounter in case of infection. In contrast with Alder-Riley inclusion, which can be seen in mucopolysaccharidosis. Paano po natin i-differentiate ang Alder-Riley inclusion from toxic granulation? There are two ways. Kung toxic granules po to, aside from this dark granules sa mga neutro, there is also neutrophilia, dual bodies, and left shift. Pag sinabi pong left shift, increasing number ng mga immature granulocyte not seen in Alder-Riley anomaly. In Alder-Riley anomaly, yung mga inclusion po, hindi lang present sa mga granulocyte, but also present in lymphocyte, monocyte. In toxic granulation, yung mga granules po pwedeng makita lang po sa mga neutrophils. Ito na po, picture ng Alder-Riley inclusion. Again, this inclusion consists of mucopolysaccharide. Some condition po pwede ma-encounter Alder-Riley anomaly, Hunter or Reiller syndrome. Another, we have yung Cheddar-Higashi inclusion. Now, this inclusion consists of giant lysosomal granules. What are lysosome? Pag sinasabi pong lysosome, ito po yung mga cellular organelle na tinatawag natin cellular scavenger. Dinadigest yung mga debris sa loob ng cell. Cheddar-Higashi syndrome, hindi lang po abnormal. Yung mga WBC, abnormal din dito yung mga platelet. Remember, sa susunod na discussion, yung mga platelet in Cheddar-Higashi syndrome ay wala ring dense granules. Cheddar-Higashi syndrome, autosomal recessive disorder, giant lysosomal granules, abnormal platelet, walang dense granules, so yung patient dito pwede magkaroon ng mga bleeding issues. Again, Cheddar-Higashi inclusion in Cheddar-Higashi anomaly. These are lysosomal granules in granulocyte, monocyte, lymphocyte. Cheddar-Higashi syndrome, autosomal recessive disorder associated with albinism. Yung mga platelets are also abnormal, wala silang dense granules. So yung patient dito may also experience bleeding tendencies. Another, we have yung Meiglin inclusion. These are pale blue inclusion in WBC found in neutro, EOB, monocyte. Ingat po sa Meiglin inclusion, pwede mapagkamalan as dual bodies. Yung dual bodies po, saan po ito makikita in case of infection? Paano mo sila i-differentiate from dual bodies? Now, yung Meiglin inclusion consists of precipitated myosin heavy chain, whereas dual inclusion consists of lamellar rows of rough endoplasmic reticulum. Kung maalala niyo po yung Alder-Riley inclusion, kamukha po niya yung toxic granules. Ngayon naman po yung Meiglin inclusion, kamukha niya yung mga dual bodies. Meiglin anomaly, autosomal dominant disorder. Bukod po sa pale blue inclusion ng WBC, the condition is characterized by presence of giant platelets and thrombocytopenia. Pale blue inclusion on WBC, giant platelet, thrombocytopenia, may Heglin anomaly. Ito na nga po, picture po ng may Heglin inclusion taken from the internet. Alam ko po, ito rin po yung picture na nasa Rudoc. Now, this inclusion consists of precipitated myosin heavy chain found in may Heglin anomaly. So, pale blue inclusion ng WBC, giant platelet, thrombocytopenia, may Heglin anomaly. Dual bodies, inclusion bodies, which are seen as single, multiple, light blue staining inclusion on right stained blood film. These are aggregate of ectoplasmic reticulum. Kung maalala niyo po, yung mga dual bodies po, kamukha niyo yung mga may Heglin inclusion in may Heglin anomaly. But yung mga dual bodies can be found in infection, viral infection, burns, or in certain drugs. Toxic granules, these are primary granules which are peroxidase positive. They are associated with infection but may also be seen in malignant disorder or as a result of drug therapy. Kung maaalala niyo po yung dual bodies, kamukha yung may Heglin inclusion, yung toxic granules naman po, kamukha niya yung mga aldehyde inclusion. Toxic granules are frequently associated with infection, but they may also be seen in case of burns, malignant disorder, or as a result of drug therapy. Another anomaly in microbicidal activity, syempre dyan po papasok ang CGD, chronic granulomatous disease. Bukod po sa HEMA, papaalala ko na pwede ma-encounter ito sa blood bank. Anong blood group po yun, KEL? Wala pong KEL precursor dito sa mga WBC. A condition characterized by the inability of neutro to ingest microorganism. Ano po yung abnormal in CGD? Abnormal po ang NADPH oxidase system. Kapag hindi po na-activate itong enzyme system na to, hindi makakapag-produce ng mga toxic oxygen molecules. So, hindi po mapapatay yung mga microorganism. Kapag tinanong po tayo, ano po yung abnormal in CGD? NADPH oxidase system. Pag wala po ito, abnormal oxidative metabolism or abnormal respiratory burst in CGD. Ano po yung test for CGD? TNBT dye test, nitroblue tetrasodium dye test. Patients, buffy coat plus NBT dye. Ang original color po ng NBT dye, pale yellow dye. Ngayon, kapag nag-react po dito, yung mga toxic oxygen molecules, may formation po ng blue formazan. Pero in CGD, hindi nakakapag-produce ng mga toxic oxygen. So, hindi po nare-reduce ang NBT dye to blue precipitate of formazan. So, in CGD, tandaan po, yung NBT dye test is 0 to negligible. Ngayon naman po, pag-usapan natin yung mga anomaly involving the monocyte and macrophages. Unang-una po dito yung Gaucher's disease. Lipidosis, kasi may accumulation ng lipid sa cytoplasm ng mga monocyte and macrophages. Dito po, may accumulation ng glucocerebroside kasi walang glucocerebrosidase enzyme. Paano po dito dinescribe yung mga mono and macrophages? They are characterized with a wrinkled or crumpled cytoplasm. Chicken scratch cytoplasm. Kung baga, yung manok po, naglakad sa papel. So, may accumulation ng glucocerebroside kasi walang glucocerebrosidase. Paano po dito dinescribe yung mga mono and macrophages? They are characterized with a wrinkled or crumpled cytoplasm. Ito po yung picture. May accumulation ng glucocerebroside kasi wala pong glucocerebrosides with a wrinkled, no? Or crumpled cytoplasm. Kitang-kita naman po sa picture na nakuha po natin. Ngayon naman po pag-usapan natin, we have yung Niemann-Pick disease, anavilipidosis or lipid storage diseases, may accumulation po ng sphingomyelin kasi kulang ng enzyme sphingomyelinase. Paano po dito tinescribe yung Niemann-Pick cell or kung tawagin Pick cell? Yung mga monocyte and macrophages dito are characterized with a foamy cytoplasm. Foam cell with accumulation of sphingomyelin in Niemann-Pick disorder. Thank you po. Hanggang dito po muna yung ating discussion. Salamat po. Good afternoon. Our topic for this time is leukemia. Pag sinabing leukemia disorder condition characterized by abnormal, uncontrolled proliferation and accumulation of one or more of the hematopoietic cell. Major symptoms of leukemia are fever, weight loss, and increased sweating. Bone pain is common in acute leukemia. Bone pain results from a large leukemic cell mass in the bone marrow, typical for acute leukemia. Enlargement of the liver, the spleen, and the lymph nodes may occur predominantly in chronic leukemias. There are two classifications of hematopoietic neoplasm. The first system used for classification is the FEB classification or the French-American-British classification. FEB classification is based on morphology. Morphology ulit, cytochemistry, and immunophenotyping. According to FEB, to be classified as acute leukemia, presence of 30 or more blasts. Now, yung FEB is still used by some but being replaced by the WHO classification of leukemia. Ano yung basis ng WHO for classifying acute leukemia? Morphology, cytochemistry, immunophenotyping, cytogenetic, and clinical features. To be classified as acute leukemia, according to WHO, greater or equal to 20% blast, in contrast sa FEB na 30% blast. FEB classification of acute leukemia, the first classification for acute leukemia divides acute leukemia into two. Number 1, the lymphoblastic, and number 2, the myeloblastic leukemia. The two main groups were divided according to morphology, cytochemistry, cytogenetic studies. Unahin muna natin yung ALL, type of acute leukemia common among children. It is primarily a disease of the children and adolescent, accounting for 25% of childhood cancer and up to 75% of childhood leukemia. The peak incidence of ALL in children is between 2 to 5 years of age. Although ALL is rare in adult, risk increases with age. Most adult patients are older than 50 years of age. L1, FEB classifies ALL according to the morphology of the lymphoblasts. In L1, the lymphoblasts are small and homogeneous, meaning they are uniform in size. Type of ALL common among children. Of the three types, L1 has the best prognosis. In L2, the lymphoblasts are large and heterogeneous. Pag sinabing heterogeneous, they are variable in size. Now, L2, type of leukemia, common among adult. L3, sa tatlo pinaka-rare, sa tatlo with a poor prognosis. L3 is also known as the Burkitt's type of ALL. In L3, how do we describe the lymphoblasts? They are large, but they are homogeneous, and they are characterized with prominent vacuoles. Again, in L1, the lymphoblasts are small and homogeneous, meaning they vary little in size. L1 is common among children. L2, the lymphoblasts are large and heterogeneous. L2 common among adult. Thus the name, the adult ALL. Of the three, ang pinaka-rare is L3, also known as the Burkitt's type of ALL. In L3, the lymphoblasts are large, but they are homogeneous and they are characterized with prominent vacuoles. According to Rhoda, since yung mga Burkitt cells are characterized with multiple vacuoles, they have the appearance of a starry sky pattern in L3 or the Burkitt cells. On the other hand, AML, on the other hand, is the most common type of leukemia in adult. The incidence of AML increases with age. It is less common in children. FAB classifies AML according to the morphology of blasts and cytochemistry. But, bago natin isa-isahin yung mga different types of acute non-lymphocytic leukemia, just a review ng mga cytochemical stain. Number 1, we have yung MPO. It is a marker for primary granules. Positive in AML, negative in ALL. A cytochemical stain that parallels MPO is the Sudan black bee stain, a marker for phospholipid and lipid. Positive in AML, but negative for patient with ALL. TDT, on the other hand, is a marker for the immature lymphocyte. TDT is positive in ALL, but negative for AML. Another, we have the esterase stain. The esterase can be used to differentiate granulocytic from monocytic leukemia. Under ng esterase reaction, we have the specific esterase or the chloroacetate esterase stain. It is positive for granulocytic cell but negative for monocytic cell. Another, we have the non-specific esterase, alpha-naphthyl acetate esterase, alpha-naphthyl butyrate esterase. It is positive in monocyte. Pero just sa background, kaya siya tinawag na non-specific, hindi lang siya positive for the monocyte. Pwedeng positive for monocyte, plasma cell, megakaryocyte. Paano mo i-differentiate yung positive reaction ng mga monocyte from plasma cells and megakaryocyte? Positive reaction of monocyte is inhibited by fluoride. So, pag tinanong tayo, ano yung cell type? Positive for the non-specific esterase, but the positive reaction is inhibited by fluoride. These are the monocyte. The non-specific esterase, in contrast with the specific esterase, is positive in monocytic cell but negative in granulocytic cell. Another, we have the PES stain. It is a marker for glycogen, glycoproteins, and mucoproteins, and high molecular weight carbohydrate. Normally, yung mga erythroblasts or PES negative. But in M6, yung mga erythroblasts or PES positive. Another, ang PES may be positive in ALL. It is positive for L1 and L2, the childhood and adult ALL, but negative for L3 or the Burkitt's type of ALL. M0, according to Rhoda, acute myeloid leukemia, minimally differentiated, or the undifferentiated leukemia. The condition is characterized by undifferentiated blasts, which are negative for MPO, negative for Sudan block B, negative for TDT. M1, AML, or acute myeloid leukemia without maturation. Blast and promyelocyte predominate without further maturation of the myeloid cell. So hanggang pro-myelocyte lang to. The peripheral blood film is characterized by presence of blast, which could be positive for presence of our rods. Cytochemistry reveals a positive MPO, positive Sudan block B, negative non-specific esterase, negative TDT. In M1, AML, or acute myeloid leukemia, pero this time with maturation. Myeloid cells demonstrate maturation beyond the blast and promyelocyte stage. Yun pa rin, the peripheral blood is characterized by presence of blast with some maturation. Positive may be positive for our rods. Less than 90% erythroid cell or blast, and 10% or more than 10% are neutrophilic cells, meaning these are the mature cell. MPO Sudan block B positive. M3, acute promyelocytic leukemia. The promyelocyte predominate in the bone marrow. Type of leukemia that involves a chromosomal translocation between chromosome 15 and 17. The condition is also characterized by presence of cell with multiple rods. Anong tawag natin dito? The phagot cell. Ito rin yung type of leukemia associated with DIC, chromosome translocation between 15 and 17, phagot cell DIC, M3. M4, acute myelomonocytic leukemia. Both myeloid and monocytic cell are present to the extent of at least 20% of the total WBC. Positive for myeloperoxidase, pero positive for both the specific and the non-specific esterase. Kasi merong granulocytic cell, the specific esterase, at saka monocytic cell, the non-specific esterase. M5, or acute monoblastic and monocytic leukemia. Most cells are monocytic. Now, M5 can be grouped into two subtypes, M5A, or acute monocytic leukemia, poorly differentiated, and M5B, acute monocytic leukemia, well differentiated. M5A is characterized by large blasts in the bone marrow and peripheral blood. M5B, the differentiated type, is characterized by monoblasts, promonocyte, and monocyte. Myeloperoxidase is negative, non-specific esterase is positive. Remember, yung mga monocytic cell are responsible for the positive, non-specific esterase reaction. M6, acute erythroleukemia is also known as erythremic myelosis, also known as Guglielmo syndrome. The condition is characterized by proliferation of both erythroid and granulocytic precursor. It may also include megakaryocytic and monocytic proliferation. The patient's bone marrow is characterized by nucleated cell that are erythroid precursor. Remember yung mga immature RBC, the erythrocytic precursor are nucleated. M6, MPO Sudan block B positive, PAS strongly positive for the erythroblast. So pag tinanong tayo, immature RBC, nucleated red cell that are PAS positive. Now, anong type of leukemia to? M6. Next, we have yung M7 or the acute megakaryocytic leukemia. The patient's bone marrow is characterized by 50 or over 50% blasts, which are megakaryoblast. Remember yung mga megakaryoblast or platelet precursor. MPO shouldn't not be positive but may be positive for the PAS team. Please take note that in M7, the megakaryoblast are positive for CD41 and CD61. Again, the megakaryoblast are identified by immunostaining, employing antibodies specific for the von Willebrand factor and platelet antigen. Positive for CD41, which correspond to glycoprotein 2B. Positive for CD42B, which correspond to glycoprotein 1B. And CD61, which correspond to glycoprotein 3A. Ano yung mga tatandaan? In M2, kanina nabigay ko yung 15, 17. Now in M2 or AML with maturation, take note, this involves translocation between chromosome 8 and 21. M3, translocation between chromosome 15 and 17. Type of leukemia. Type of leukemia wherein yung mga blasts are positive for CD41, CD61, or CD42B, M7. Remember CD41, CD42B, and CD61 are markers for the megakaryocytic cell. M6, erythroleukemia. The blasts are MPO positive, Sudan Black B positive, and PAS positive. In contrast with M7. Now the blasts may be PAS positive but are negative for the myeloperoxidase and Sudan Black B stain. Now, let us try to answer questions lifted from our Enrodoc. The WHO classification requires what percentage for blasts in the blood or bone marrow for diagnosis of AML. So, correct answer at least 20%. Remember yung FAB, at least 30%. First classification is FAB, but this was already replaced by some by the WHO classification. Sa WHO classification, at least 20% blasts in the blood or bone marrow. In which age group does acute lymphoblastic leukemia occur with the highest frequency? Type of leukemia common among children is ALL, particularly L1. So correct answer is A, 1 to 15 years old. Number 2, DIC are associated with what type of acute leukemia? DIC, phagot cell translocation between chromosome 15 and 17. Anong type of leukemia to? M3 or APL. Situation. A peripheral blood smear show 75% blast. Now, itong mga blast na to are positive for both Sudan Black B and peroxidase. Given these values, which of the following disorder is most likely? Positive Sudan Black B, positive peroxidase, or seen in AML, or acute myeloid myelocytic leukemia. Which of the following reaction are often positive in ELL but negative in AML? Remember, yung TDT is a marker for the immature lymphocyte. In ELL, the blast or TDT positive but negative for MPO, negative for Sudan black B stain. PAS is also positive in L1 and in L2. Another, what would be the most likely designation by the WHO for FAB AML M2? Translocation between chromosome 8 and 21. Next problem is on M3. So, translocation between chromosome 15 and 17. Alam ko pa ulit-ulit, phagot cell, DRC, translocation between chromosome 15 and 17, M3 or APL, acute promyelocytic leukemia. A patient with normal chromosome, WBC count of 3 times 10 to the 9 power per liter, and dysplasia in all cell line. There are 60% blasts of varying sizes. The blast in positive for CD61. Remember, CD41, CD42B, and CD61 are markers for the megakaryoblast. So, anong type of leukemia to? M7 or the acute megakaryocytic or megakardioblastic leukemia. Hanggang dito muna ang ating diskusyon. Salamat sa lahat ng nakinig.